to my president, President William Jefferson Clinton.
Thank you very much. Let's give it up for Congresswoman Stephanie Tubbs Jones. Is she great or what? Go ahead. I love community colleges because they work the way all America ought to work. Everybody can get in. There's a place for everybody without regard to race or gender or age or anything else. There is a place for everybody in a community college. And everybody gets a chance to live up to the fullest of their God-given abilities. They're innovative. They're always in constant change. They're not half a step slow like the government often is in keeping up with what's going on in the emerging economy. If you think about how the community college works, that's the way Hillary thinks America ought to work, where we all go forward together. So I have a question. I know you want to make history in this election, but I hope you want to build a better future for America in this election. Because we live in a fascinating time. I mean, look around this crowd. This is a very different crowd than you might have seen 30 years ago. There is intense interest in this election where people are coming forward. They want their voices to be heard. They want their questions answered. And they want their country changed everywhere I go. For most people in Ohio, the economy is already in a recession. Is that right? And why is that? Because after producing 22.7 million jobs in the 1990s and our 8 years, and lifting almost 8 million people from poverty into the middle class, in this decade we produced 5 million jobs, and 5 million people have fallen from the middle class into poverty. Because median income for families, the ones in the middle, after inflation is $1,000 lower today than it was the day I left office. The challenges abroad are immense. You probably noticed it. Seems like more than half the world's mad at us. And part of it is about their disagreement with our policy in Iraq and the fact that we went in there without letting the UN inspectors finish their jobs. And to be sure, part of the solution is bringing our troops home, which Hillary wants to do as quickly and safely as we can. But if she were here, because of her experience around the world, she would be the first to tell you that's only part of it. Because nobody now is pulling for Iraq to fail. That is, we all have a vested interest, after all the blood that's been shed there and all the troubles in the region, in hoping that it works. We have other problems. People in the world are mad at us because we got out of the world fight against global warming, and 170 countries stayed in. They're mad at us because we got out of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, which every president, from President Eisenhower through me, supported. They're mad at us because after getting out of that test ban treaty, for most of the last 7 years, we were trying to develop 2 new nuclear weapons while telling the Iranians they couldn't have any. If we want to bring America together and get beyond all this partisan divide in Washington, there is really only one way to do it. We've got to set some big goals that we can work on together again. What are they? She wants to restore the middle-class dream in America and give poor people a chance to work their way into it. Our inequality is not just in incomes. Look at health care. People without health insurance going up. How many of you know somebody without health care? All right, 1 in 6 of your fellow Americans has no health insurance. Every other rich country in the world insures everyone. 1 in 3 Americans is without health insurance at some time during every year. Then a lot of people have health insurance until they file a claim and they're told whatever it is they really need is not covered. These problems you don't have in other countries, and yet we spend $700 billion a year, that's the size of our trade deficit, on health care that we would not spend if we had any other country's system. More loans and more Pell Grants and more opportunities to earn money through community service through AmeriCorps. And a different loan program. A loan program that says to all of you, you need never be afraid to borrow the money for higher education because we will loan it to you directly from the government at a lower interest rate, and you can sign a contract to pay it back as a low percentage of your income every year. This is a big deal. We've got to do that to restore our position in the world. But we also want to send a different message, she says. Says, elect me, and we'll go around the world with a new message. It starts like this. We're back. America is back. President Hillary Clinton would say to the world, you know, there's nearly no problem in the world we can solve by ourselves. Think about it. We can't solve terrorism. We can't solve nuclear materials. We can't solve global epidemics. We can't solve global warming. We can't solve immigration flows. There is no problem we can solve all by ourselves. So from now on, we're going to cooperate with you whenever we can and act alone only when we have to, not the other way around. She wants to say, we are proud of our military. Indeed, we have to rebuild it. It's been nearly broken by this obsessive deployment. Some of our people serving longer than they did in World War II. And not just the Army and the Marine Corps, the National Guard, the reserves. We have Navy reservists today serving with the United States Army in the Iraq theater because we are out of troops. So we're proud of them, but we also know that in the modern world, the most expensive thing you can do is go to war. People die, people are wounded, other people get mad when unintended things happen, when weapons go off, and it costs a lot of money, $120 billion a year. That's more than it would cost you to give health insurance to every man, woman, and child in America that does not have it. The money to go negotiate with all the mortgage companies and split the difference. Tell the mortgage company, you got to take a hit, and we'll make a little payment, and we'll leave these people in their homes. Now, I don't want to mislead you. That will cost you some money, probably about $30 billion. But wouldn't you rather pay $30 billion today and leave people in their homes than have 2 million families foreclosed on and spend $100 or $150 or $200 billion a year from now when this economy is spinning out of control? That's what you hire a president to do, to make the kind of decisions that she is making on this home mortgage crisis. So, that's my case for her. She said, you want to move America forward, you bring America together, set the right big goals and go to work on them together and have good plans. And there's one other point. The president's job is to lead the change. The president's job is to be, as the Constitution says, the chief executive. Not to run an organization, not to make every last decision, but to see that positive changes are made in your lives. She is a world-class change maker. And that's the main reason you ought to be for her. When she went to the Senate, people said, oh, she'll never get anything done in the Senate. The Republicans don't like her or her husband. They're glad to get rid of him, and they'll never work with her. She won't be able to hit a lick at a snake, as we say in Arkansas. So what happened? She became the first senator in New York history to be on the Armed Services Committee. And with Republican support, she and Republican senators did the following. They passed bills to speed the provision of body armor to our troops in conflict. They passed a bill to guarantee that members of the National Guard and Reserves from Ohio, if they go over there and serve, when they come home, they get exactly the same health care that regular military personnel do. It's a big deal.